Zero, research explorer in time and space. Somewhere, in a remote, uncharted region of the planet called Earth, stands the laboratory of Captain Zero. In this secret location, known only to a few in the outside world, Captain Zero and his associates experiment in time and space to learn from the past, to plan for the future.
Contact been established. We now transmit you direct to the laboratory of Captain Zero. Please stand by.
Zero to Jet. Come in, Jet. Over.
Jet to Zero. Come in, Captain. Over.
All secure, Jet. I'll contact you when I'm ready to land. Zero. Over and out.
Yes, sir. Jet, out. On my own, I'd blast off from Mars or Venus right now. I'd be famous. I'd go down in history as the first man to fly to another planet. First man to fly.
Zero to Jet. Come in, Jet. Over. Zero to Jet. Come in, Jet. Over. Jet.
Yes, sir?
Come in, Jet. Over.
Oh, yes, sir. Jet to Zero. Come in, Captain. Over.
It's about time. What in the world were you doing? Over.
Well, I
know. Sound asleep, huh?
Well, no, not exactly. I was sitting here concentrating.
Okay, never mind. Alert the north field. I'm coming in. Zero. Over and up.
Yes, sir. At once, sir. Jet, out. Tetro.
Yes, Jet?
Captain Zero's coming in on the north field.
Right.
Here she comes. Man, what a ship. Golly, wish I'd been born a couple of 100 years ago. I bet I'd have thought of making airplanes even then. I'd have been famous. I would have gone down in history as the first man in the world ever to fly. Oh, hi, Captain.
Hi, Jet.
How'd it go? Did you have any trouble?
Not a bit. The ship operated perfectly. But what happened to you?
Well, I guess I got kind of lost in thought.
You mean daydreaming?
Yeah. I was the first man in the world ever to fly.
You know, Jet, you'll fly a lot higher if you learn to keep your feet on the ground. What do you think of her?
Boy, she sure is a beaut. How fast will she go?
I don't know exactly. She's still in the experimental stage. I had her up to about 12 miles per second, but she's built to go twice that fast. Acro.
Yes, sir.
You can take her up for a shakedown whenever you're ready.
Yes, sir.
Boy, you sure come a long way since man first decided to fly.
No doubt about that.
Captain,
Yes?
when did man first get the idea of flying?
Well, the idea of flying has been in man's mind for a long time, Jet. Probably ever since he first noticed birds.
But when did he first do something about it?
Well, there's an old Greek legend about a man named Icarus who made a pretty successful flight.
How?
With wings, like those of a bird.
Well, what happened to him?
He did all right until he got a little overconfident and flew too close to the sun.
What happened then?
The heat of the sun melted the wax holding the wings to his body, and he fell into the sea and drowned.
I wouldn't call that a very successful flight.
It's just a mythological legend, Jet.
But when did man first do anything about making a flying machine?
Well, if we skip over the Wright brothers and all the others who have contributed so much to modern aeronautics, we'd end up with Leonardo Da Vinci. His machines were the first ones of which we have any real records.
Leonardo Da Vinci? I thought he was a painter.
And you're right. One of the world's greatest. But he was also a sculptor, architect, doctor, scientist, engineer, and practically everything else you can think of, as well as an inventor.
Man, he sure must have been busy.
He was.
How did his machines work?
Well, one of them had two huge wings, like a bird.
Like in the Legend of Icarus?
Right. And the theory was that when a man got inside the machine and operated the levers, the wings would flap like those of a bird and the machine would fly.
Did anyone ever try it?
Not that I know of.
Golly, flapping wings, like a bird. Captain,
Yeah?
can we go back to the time of Leonardo da Vinci and see his flying machines?
Good idea. Set the time machine for the year 1515, June the 12th. Location, the castle of King Francis I in Milan, Italy. Bring up the voltage to 400,000, thermogauge 20.965. Stand by to activate the cycle reactor.
Yes, sir.
Tetro,
Yes, sir?
stand by for operation of the time machine. We're going to try to project back to Leonardo da Vinci in the 16th century.
Yes, sir.
Electrogenerators, 8.713. Klystron output, 4.995. Set the trilotron at 40.6732.
Right.
Ready, Jet?
Ready, sir.
Ready in the electric chamber?
All set, Captain.
Stand by for signal. Activate the cycle reactor. Steady. We're cracking the fourth dimension. Good. We're projecting back into time. 1900, 1800, 1700. Steady. Increase the field output. Double the rise time. 1600, 1550. Stand by. 30, 20, 1515. Cut the cycle reactor and lock it. Level of power, Tetro.
Did we make it, Captain?
I think so. Activate the sound wave segregator and patch it into the time machine audio.
Yes, sir. All set, sir.
Stand by to activate the view screen.
Yes, sir.
Bring up the beam focus. Check off multiplier. Check target voltage. Increase image acceleration.
Golly, what's that?
That's the castle of King Francis I in Italy.
But I thought we were going to see Leonardo da Vinci and his flying machines.
We are. But in the year 1515, Da Vinci was the royal painter. He lived in that tower on the right. Stand by to refocus inside.
Yes, sir.
There he is, Jet. Leonardo da Vinci, considered by many to be the greatest genius who ever lived.
Golly, what's he doing?
He's working on the Mona Lisa, one of his most famous paintings. He started it many years ago, but he died still feeling it was unfinished.
What's that funny-looking thing over there on the right?
That's Da Vinci's model of a 10-barrel gun, the forerunner of the modern machine gun. He also had ideas for tanks, armored cars, and many other instruments of war centuries before they were ever built. Da Vinci was far ahead of his time, Jet. In fact, it wasn't until our own century that his greatness as a scientist was fully realized. For instance, there's his model of a swinging bridge, a projector, and sketches of pulleys and many other things.
Criminy, what's that?
That's Da Vinci's model for a helicopter. That aerial screw was meant to be turned by manpower at a speed to lift the machine and its occupant into the air. Of course, manpower would never have done it. But if Da Vinci had had a motor, that helicopter would actually have flown.
Golly. Captain, look. Is that another model of a flying machine?
That's right, Jet. Leonardo developed the principles of both vertical and horizontal flight. And that machine is the original forerunner of powered aircraft, conceived almost 4 centuries before man finally got off the ground.
qualche modo devo fissare l'espressione dell'anima e non solamente quella del volto. Non posso fidare questo qua.
Jet, set the language rectifier to Italian so we can understand him.
It is no use. No use. I know how I want it to be, but I cannot make it so. Life is now short. What have I completed? Nothing. My inventions, my painting, my studies, all unfinished. And so little time left. My flying machines, what good are they? My studies of birds in flight, my experiments on air currents, what could possibly come of them? Too many projects, too few completed. What is the use to go on? Who will know or understand? Wasted. Wasted.
Captain, he thinks his life is wasted. He thinks he has done nothing.
That's the way it is with great men, Jet. The more they learn, the more they realize is yet to be learned.
But isn't there some way we could show him how important his work is?
Maybe. Maybe there is. Stand by to activate the materialization chamber. Perhaps we can show him.
You mean we're going back to the 16th century?
No. We're going to bring Da Vinci to the 20th century. Stand by.
He's materialized out of the 16th century, Captain.
Good. Watch the chamber. He should be coming in. Proton neuron waves are entering the electrostatic field.
Golly, I wonder how he's going to react.
He's transforming from electrical impulses and beginning to materialize. He's coming in. He's in. Signor Da Vinci.
What? Who are you? Where am I? How did I get here?
Don't be alarmed, Mr. Da Vinci. We're your friends. We brought you here.
But how? And why? And what sort of place is this?
This is my studio, you might say, where I experiment in time and space.
Time and space? Ah, yes. I, too, have made some experiments in space and models of flying machines. But I fear it is for naught.
No, Mr. Da Vinci. I'm going to show you what has become of some of your ideas and experiments.
What has become? Do you not mean what will become or what might become?
No, what has become. You'll find this difficult to believe, Mr. Da Vinci, but you are now in the 20th century.
The what century?
The 20th.
Oh, I see. Strange, I could almost believe I were awake. Yet I know this can only be a dream.
Come with me, Mr. Da Vinci.
Of course, of course.
Coming, Jet?
Later, Captain. I want to have another look at Mr. Da Vinci's flying machines.
Okay.
The first flying machine. Golly, I wonder if it would really work. could a rocket ship or an airplane develop out of this? Looks as if it might fly, though.
The one thing you lacked in your time, Mr. Da Vinci, was an efficient source of power. This is part of our equipment for generating electrical power here at the laboratory.
Unbelievable. Simply unbelievable.
Come, I still have more to show you.
If I took this up to the top of the tower and pushed off, I'd be the first man in history ever to fly. Yeah.
And there's our latest development in air and spacecraft, the rocket ship.
Fantastic. Utterly fantastic.
There's still more to see. And now, Mr. Da Vinci, I'm going to refocus the view screen from your studio in the 16th century and show you some of the things that are going on in the world today. These are but a few of the types of aircraft that have developed from your original flying machines. You lacked an efficient source of power, which has since been supplied. But your theories of flying were far ahead of your time. And the original experiments you made in your studio have led to these experiments in the sky, at heights far above the clouds, and at speeds faster than the speed of sound.
Fantastic. Utterly fantastic.
And here's the nerve center of a modern airport, the control tower. So many planes in the air that traffic must be controlled to prevent accidents.
Traffic in the air?
Yes. Airplane pilots must check with the tower before takeoff and before landing, as well as during flight. Thousands of airplanes come and go through the day and through the night, carrying passengers and cargo on regular schedules all over the world. And here's a helicopter, of which the model of your aerial screw is the forerunner.
My theory of compressing the air to obtain lift.
Right. In fact, if the model in your studio had an efficient source of power, it too would fly. And these are wind tunnels, inside of which conditions of flight are manufactured and experiments with air currents are carried on. Inside those tunnels, winds are made to blow at hundreds of miles per hour, so that flying machines may be safely tested.
What strange alchemy lets me see these things?
And here's the latest development in powered flight, an experimental flying platform developed in the United States.
Where?
In the land that Columbus discovered during your lifetime.
Now I know I'm dreaming.
No, it's true, Senor Da Vinci. The most recent developments in aviation are away from the fixed wing of horizontal flight with its many limitations and back to your long-neglected theories of the flexible wing and vertical flight. Now, I want to show you one of the world's best-known paintings. Do you recognize this?
Why, certainly. My Mona Lisa.
Yes, known all over the world as one of the great works of art. And you are known as one of the greatest of artists. And now, Mr. Da Vinci, I'm going to send you back to your studio in the 16th century. Your life has been most worthwhile, and you still have much to do.
Yes, yes, my studies and experiments are certainly not in vain.
Now, if you'll just sit in the chamber there.
Yes, yes, of course. And thank you, whoever you are, for conducting me through a most fantastic dream.
Goodbye, Mr. Da Vinci. Jet! Jet! Tetro,
Yes, Captain.
Jet down there?
Why, no, I thought he was up there with you.
Okay, thanks. Wait a minute. Jet seemed mighty interested in Da Vinci's flying machine. I wonder if he could have... Gone! The machine has disappeared and so has Jet. Tetro, stand by to take over. I'm going back into time.
Yes, sir. But what's wrong, sir?
Jet disappeared with Da Vinci's flying machine.
Well, what's wrong with that?
The machine never worked. Stand by.
Yes, sir.
I'll bet he's gone up on the roof of that tower. Jeff!
Everything seems to be operating all right. And I'm certainly high enough to get a good start. Colin, if this thing works, I'll be famous.
Jeff! 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 Hang on, Jet. Hang on. I'm almost there, Jet. Hang on.
Hurry, Captain! Hurry!
Don't move. Killed?
No! I just wanted to be the first man in history ever to fly.
You almost were. Straight down. Tetro, take us back.
Priming. I still think it would have flown if that ledge hadn't gotten in the way.
No, Jet. Even though Da Vinci designed machines for flying way back in the year 1515, it wasn't until 1903 that man actually flew under power.
Golly, almost 4 centuries later.
That's right.
Da Vinci really was ahead of his time.
Yes, but once we got off the ground, we really moved fast. and there's no telling where it will end.
Be sure to be standing by when we again transmit you to this remote location on the planet Earth, where Captain Zero and his associates will conduct another experiment in time and space.